Hey guys, my name is Courtney and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be trying out the Tarte Face Tape Foundation. Now for those of you guys that don't know about the whole Tarte Shape Tape Fiasco, basically I'm going to do a quick rundown. So essentially Tarte came out with a concealer that was the Shape Tape Concealer. A lot of people liked it. I was not one of those people. And essentially they were going to come out with a foundation that was comparable to the concealer. Basically they released a shade range that was horrendous. They got a lot of backlash for it and they replied very stupidly. The response to the whole fiasco is very ignorant. A lot of people cancel Tarte in general. That's like the short synopsis. So there is a lot of information that you guys can find out there if you want a little bit more details and all of that stuff. I just figure I don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long, so I'm kind of gonna get into it, get out, you know what I mean? I will say that honestly at the time that everything did happen, I had to take a step back from Tarte as well, just because of like the whole ignorance of it all. Just really turned me off. The foundation came right after, you know, you had the Fenty Beauty launch, which launched I believe 40 shades in their first release, and then you had Huda Beauty come out with, you know, 30 shades that seemed, you know, inclusive, and then you had NARS come out with, you know, the Natural Radiant Foundation with all these colors, and it was just really disappointing to see that Tarte literally stayed in the same lane that they have been in for years. And in all honesty, I think a lot of people ignored the fact that Tarte has never been a brand that was that inclusive, if I'm being honest. It's always been those shades that they released. If you guys think about back to Tarte's stick foundation that they released a while before the Shape Tape, that shade range was the exact shade range that they released again. I think people were just on that wave of inclusivity, and just finally brands are starting to get it, and then Tarte came out with the original Shape Tape foundation and just disappointed everybody in such a major way. And then the response was just so ignorant that it was just, I can't deal with you anymore. Fast forward to today. They have released the Tarte Face Tape Foundation, which is supposed to be closer to the actual Shape Tape Concealer, which again, not a fan of, but I still like trying out foundations in general. But anyway, so the thing that I think brought me to sort of want to try out anything from Tarte, not only are they doing away with their original Shape Tape Foundation, like once those are sold, I believe those are going to be discontinued. They came out with 50 shades in this foundation. Basically from now on they're going to have 5 undertones that they're going to work with, and it's literally going to range from fair to light, medium to tan, deep to rich. I'm at a point where basically I want people to learn from their mistakes and grow, and essentially this is why I'm willing to give Tarte a second chance, if that makes sense. I don't want to necessarily tell these brands to, you know, up your shade range, fix it, and then once they do, I'm like, but you're canceled though. You know what I mean? And they did have to suffer probably financially a little bit to understand how deep of a situation it was, and it wasn't just a thing where you can release 5 more shades that are darker and then call it a day. It's like you literally completely botched it. So for them to come out with the new undertones, new shade range, not only of this foundation, because I think a lot of people miss the fact that they didn't only just do this with this foundation, they extended the shade range of the Amazonian Clay foundation, as well as, I want to say, the Rainforest of the Sea foundation. I think those are the more popular foundations that they redid the shade range on as well. I'm gonna give like a sideways glance kudos to them, only because I'm still very skeptical of the whole brand. However, I am willing to give brands a second chance if they're trying to do better, but a little bit beyond just better. And I think them extending not only this shade range but other shade ranges is a step in the right direction, and I hope other brands follow suit, in that not only the one foundation that's popular, but just literally extend your shade range in all of your foundations. Alright, so let's get into the actual foundation. I'm gonna have to edit that like a mofo. The actual foundation you can get either at Tarte Cosmetics, or I believe it's an Ulta exclusive. Like I did say before, it does come in 50 shades. I got the shade 47S Tan Deep Sand. And the sand colors are supposed to be more warm yellow undertone. They do have a golden undertone, however that one was a golden olive undertones, and on my skin it doesn't look right. Not that this one does, but we'll get into that a little bit later. It is a $39 foundation. You do get 1.01 ounces, which is like a slight bit more than your regular. It does come with the pump. The last ones did not. In person, the foundation in the tube looks darker than what it actually is. And now mind you, I did swatch this, and in store it looked okay, but I made the mistake of not looking at it throughout the day again. We'll get into my actual thoughts on the color and it turning gray. Y'all see that, right? I did zoom you guys in a little bit today. I just want you guys to get a full close-up look as I talk about the foundation. So I'm gonna take this is a BH Cosmetics brush. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in on this side with my foundation brush. The next shade up from this one would not have been doing me any favors either. Like, it would have been way too dark. And even though this shade is like pale and deathly, I'm still able to bronze it and make it look workable. I am going in with another pump for the brush. It is a medium coverage foundation. I do believe that it's buildable, but I wouldn't want to build this up anymore because it is something that I can feel on my face. All right, so this is the side without foundation, and this is the side with it. I don't know if you guys have seen my ColourPop video where I was trying out the ColourPop, the liquid foundation that they had. And my skin kept turning gray, and I feel like this foundation does the exact same thing. This is with the brush, and then this side is with the sponge. Okay, so we already know that the color is like a negative. We already know I don't have a color in this shade range. However, like I said, the look of the foundation isn't too bad. I actually like the matte mixed with the dewiness. I want to say that it's a soft matte, but it's not necessarily. Only because to me, I feel like a lot of my foundations that are more of a soft matte just give me a better feel to my skin. If I look up really close, I can see some pores already wanting to peek through, which honestly, once I set everything, maybe I use a blurring powder, then we should be covered in that area. Another thing I'm gonna note is that it is doing that weird thing where it doesn't necessarily want to stick to the sides of my nose or right here. I am going to go in with a few different things to try to fix this or make it wearable. I do have places I have to go today, unfortunately, which means I will be going out with a ghost face. So this is a face that we're essentially going to be going with today. Everything on my face is going to be listed in the description box below if you guys are curious. So right now it is 11:33. I guess I can show you guys that. It's 11:33. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Alright guys, I am back and this is what my face is looking like. Overall, I don't think that this looks horrible. By the way, it is 8:04. For that amount of time, it's actually not that bad. There are a few things that I want to note. This foundation on my nose looks really weird. So right here you can see a ton of like bumps and pores, so it makes my nose look extra textured. While right here isn't as bad, it's still very smooth. Like on the parts that I regularly have like texture and stuff, it doesn't feel like it's bringing out extra texture. Just for some reason on my nose it is. We still have the gray situation going on around here. Now I am going to insert a picture in the natural daylight so you guys can see, like, it's not horrible, but it is bad. This isn't the first time that I've worn this foundation, and it's not the first time that this has happened, so there's that. I am a little bit oily. I'm oily in this area right here on the forehead. As far as the way that it feels, it does feel slightly icky, especially in the places that it's oily. I feel like this foundation never really felt like light. It's not a lightweight foundation by any means, and I've actually worn thicker foundations that don't feel this heavy. To me, even the most recent foundation I can compare it to is like the Hourglass foundation, and that one to me is more lightweight. Like, even though it is a super full coverage foundation, it doesn't feel heavy even with the oils coming through, whereas this one is very just thick from jump, just heavy from jump. And I think if you're somebody that is used to wearing like a lot of foundation, then it might not bother you as much. All right, so just to be fair, I'm gonna go ahead and powder, especially in this area right here. So as you can see, I put the powder on and it goes back to looking pretty normal, pretty nice. Now with the whole like Shape Tape fiasco that they had going on, I feel like this isn't necessarily a foundation that makes up for that, if that makes sense. I think this is one of those foundations that just depends on the person, but it's just not something that I would gravitate towards just because of the way that it feels. I feel like there's so many foundations on the market that have my shade match that's like either really close or, you know what I mean, they don't turn gray, I don't look ghostly, I don't have to make it work. I'm always going to gear towards those more so than a foundation I have to literally finesse essentially. And with that being said, it's not the foundation for me personally, but I think if you guys can find your actual shade match or something close to it, then I would suggest you guys trying it out. I don't think it's a bad foundation at all. Alright guys, that about does it for me. Hopefully this video was helpful. If so, please give me a thumbs up. Also in the comments, I would love to know what your thoughts are on the whole Shape Tape situation. Are you guys willing to give them another shot? Are you guys kind of already done with them? That sort of thing. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video if the mood suits you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!